Alrighty, so I am making this video because, as some of you are aware, every time you look up putting 33-inch tires on a Chevy Colorado, you get so many different opinions, and you need to do this, you need to do that. So that's why I'm making this video. I'm not this ain't my normal thing, but I figured it might help somebody. So I have added the Rough Country 3.25 combo lift kit to this truck. Everything else is stock, but I put so basically the combo lift kit levels the truck with a spacer that goes on the strut. Let me pull in here. It's nice and sunny outside. Hopefully you can see. So this spacer right here goes in the strut, and they give you new nuts for your studs. And down here under this whatever they call this thing that holds the spring, there's a spacer that went and raised this up here. So this is about it's a metal spacer about yay big. So anyway, the front leveling kit raised it 2 inches in the front. Nothing in the back. The back is stock as far as the leveling kit. And then I put an 1.25 inch. The combo kit comes with an 1.25 inch body lift. So lifted the body, and as you can tell there with the space, you can see the spacer on the bed here. So right there you can see one of those spacers, but it just raised the body up 1.25 inches. And it comes with the relocate brackets, you know, for your bumpers, raises the bumpers up. And on the front, so you can see the front there. Now this is a 2022, and the instructions were, I think, for 2015, because they were telling me pull the grill off. You know, they had instructions on how to do all that. Well, this grill does not come off like a 2015. So what I ended up doing, this gray piece right here, it has little clips all along it, all right in here. You can fill them back behind here, and you just press that down, and this will actually pop off. And I drilled a hole, because there's a bumper back here, the crash bumper. I drilled a hole in this part here, which is covered by this gray, so it's like you're not going to see it, but there's a hole now in my bumper, or in this plastic stuff here. That way I could access the bolts, so when I relocated that bumper. So if you do it on a 2022, don't try to pull your grill unless you know a lot more about body panels and stuff than I did. I found it is a little bit of a pain, but I had no problem just popping that gray off and going through there. It'll save you some time and aggravation. So that is all I've done to the truck at this point. I did go get one tire mounted so I could test fit to know if there's any trimming I need to do, which I've already test fit it last night, and I'm gonna video that just so you can see, because somebody's saying it and actually seeing it's two different things. But I'll get the tire mounted on here, and we'll do full rotation left, right. And the only places I found that it hits It just barely rubs right here, which is to be expected. It's a common issue with these. Everybody tells you got to trim this. So I'm going to pull this right here, and I'm going to trim this plastic piece. And then right here, it barely rubbed on this, and there's not a whole lot there. Actually, that bump out is for the emergency. Sorry, like I said, it's not going to be a perfect video, but hopefully it helps. But you can see there's the emergency cable. All I'm going to do is zip tie that cable kind of over to hold it. Well, sorry, there you go, focuses. So I'm just going to kind of zip that cable over, and then I may trim some of this just to keep it from hanging on the tire, because if it hangs on the tire, it's going to rip anyway, so might as well get it out the way. But that's what I'm going to do today. And I will also be doing the right side, which I don't see. Well, it still kind of has that bump over here too, but there's no cable on this side, so that I'll probably just cut out. And then same thing here, I'll have to trim this piece here. We'll have to, I think they call it the like corner support, whatever, but it's just a honeycomb. You can kind of see there, it's just a honeycomb piece. And basically what I'm going to do is just cut this back and then re-screw my the inner fender liner. I'm going to screw that back to like this piece here, and that'll give me, I think that's about a 2-inch difference there. So I'm just going to use my Sawzall and cut it out and then screw that liner to it, and it'll be good. But I'm going to video all that so you can see it. The back, I don't think sorry about the finger, but like here you can tell it definitely looks tighter. I think the only thing I may end up doing on the back is pulling, these came factory, and I've already pulled the one off the front because there was one on the front corner right there. I kind of like the way they look on there, but if they're going to interfere with the tires, I want them gone, because I've taken this truck, even when it was in stock form, out to the rock garden at Disney, Oklahoma, and obviously I'm not climbing any crazy, anything crazy, but just going out there and just having fun. I like the rocks better than I like the mud. So with the 33's on, I will be doing some video out there as well, just playing around, seeing what we can get accomplished. But I'm gonna get the tire mounted on that other side and do my best to video halfway decent the clearancing. And like I said, I'll show you what all hits before I clearance it, that way you can tell yourself. So 33's on a Colorado, not that big a deal. The lift itself took me like 3 evenings, but I was doing it after work. I just focused on the struts one evening, then the next I raised the bed, and then the next I raised the cab. So not that big a deal. But if you had a full Saturday and an extra pair of hands, I was just doing it by myself, and I wasn't in no big hurry. I was just trying to take my time. The biggest issue was, like I said, the front grille. The instructions were like, hey, pull the front grille. So then I had to figure out, well, how do I do this without pulling the grille? But once you take all the screws loose on the bottom, and of course my air dam, I removed that when I first got the truck, because the first ditch I went through messing around, it almost ripped it off anyway. So I'm like, it's got to go, because I use it as a truck. I try not to, intentionally damage it, but it is my work truck. I'm a independent contractor, and I go around doing construction, so I use it for work. It's making me money, but I also like to use it for fun. So I will see you in a minute. Okay, so tire is mounted and looks amazing, but I'm gonna have my assistant, so you can go all the way to the right. I'll show you here. Yeah, see how we get our rub in here. I haven't clearanced anything yet. That's all the way to the right. Okay, that's all the way to the right. You can see there. We're clear on everything else. All right, go all the way to the left. There's it rotating there. And you can see there, it's just barely touching there. And once again, we're fine. It's just this inner lining, which I'll trim that too. But you can tell there's just barely touching on that cable area. But it doesn't touch anything else. It's just that lining. So the lift was a success, and I'm pretty stoked. It'll be interesting to see what happens when she's under full articulation. And like I said, I'll get some shots, some video out there once I get out on the rocks, because I'm pretty stoked about getting out there and seeing what happens. But I'm gonna get it clearanced and I'll be back. Alrighty, so I got the tire off, and I'm gonna open this up. And get to that honeycomb, or the support. Because all I'm going to do is just cut kind of right about here, I think. I just need to clearance this corner out and probably take that off, shove that in. I think that is, let me go get a socket. I think that's a 7mm. That's what it was. Yeah, 7mm. So 7mm to take that loose. It's kind of annoying. All right. And then I've just got my Sawzall. You know what? I probably ought to just take it off. But, well. So that's gone. Almost gone. Gotta love it. And there you go. And I'm not too worried about the inner fender, this here liner. If nothing else, I might just, well, I'll put a small bolt there, because this will come in. This actually bends pretty easy. So like that, just bend it back, screw that to there, and then this liner, I'll just zip tie it to here, because I was thinking I'd have a flat surface to bolt to, but not that big a deal. And over here, if you want to hold it there, Okay, so we're gonna clearance this. There's that cable I was telling you about. I'm just gonna kind of, I thought about zip tying it, but it may not be an issue because it's only hanging on this. So let me see, I need to cut this out here. Stuff's tougher than it looks. Like so. Voila. Then we'll get the tire back on and make sure it's clearanced enough and go from there. So me again. Real quick, I just noticed on the other side when I cut it, I cut all this off, and what I realized is this little bracket that I cut off and then re-screwed back to here. You don't really need to do that, because the cut basically goes through here to give the clearance. So as you can tell, I'm doing this side with the tire even still on. So there's no need to take the tire off even. You can just sawzall underneath, cut it with whatever you got, because really the clearance issue is right, sorry, camera work again. The clearance issue is right in here. So I'm just gonna sawzall this, zip tie this back, put my screws up back here on the side, and then clearance the back and go get the tires on. Okay, so I got it buttoned back up. As you can tell, I got the screws back in here, and that piece that I cut off this corner, I just put the clip back. You can see there's plenty of space where it'll accommodate the clip, let me put it that way. So I put the clip back, screwed that in with the original screw, and then just zip tied these two to keep them back. And you already saw this side. I'm not going to do anything with this unless I have to, because the lift kit came with extenders for the e-brake cable. Oh, sorry, wasn't. And then this bracket locates the e-brake cable this way, gives you a little bit of it makes this so it's not so tight against the when you raise the body, because you can see the body puck right there. Sorry, I'm talking and not paying attention to where the video is going. So worst case, before I put this in, this wasn't that bad, but it was maybe tight, I don't know, because it still feels pretty tight. So maybe putting that, but what I'm getting at, I could make this go closer by taking this back out and taking the extenders off of the cables right there. So these extend the cables, they come as part of the kit. This right here on each cable, and then that bracket. So we'll see. I don't think it's going to be an issue. I'm going to get the tire back on and just make sure everything's good, and then we'll go to the right side. Alrighty, we are back, and the tire's on, clearanced. So we're gonna go all the way to the right. Oh, look at that. Go all the way to the left. All the way to the right. Isn't that gorgeous? And do it again. Hold right there. Let me just make sure. Yeah, you can see it's just barely touching on that, but like there's nothing there. We'll just let the tire wear the little groove off that it needs, but she's fine. And right there, you can tell. Sorry for the video quality, like I said. Hopefully it comes through, but I'm not pushing on that cable, and my hand does fit behind and between the cable. So even though this liner is kind of poochy, I don't know if that's a word, but it is here in Oklahoma, you can see there it's not hitting. So it is clearanced and ready to go. And I said I was going to show the right side, but I'm not. As far as the bumps and everything, they looked exact. So once I get it clearanced, if there's anything that I had to do different, I will let you know and I'll video it. But based on the way everything looks, I don't see anything different. So my next step is going to be to clearance the right hand side, go get the tires put on all the way around, and then see about getting some video of it out on the rocks, doing a little off-roading. Super excited. So talk to you later. Bye. So he's going to come up this area here. I will say the biggest thing I've noticed with the lift and tires is definitely the approach and departure angles. Before, like in stock form, even going over mild stuff, I drug the rear bumper several times. Yeah, there we go. So caught a little there, as you can tell. So still not an off-roading monster, but definitely more capable. I wouldn't even attempted that before, much less let him drive my truck attempting it. So I'm super happy with the end result, which is a more capable truck, which means more fun to drive. Yeah, super cool. Definitely, if you're thinking about getting your truck up off the ground, do it, because it's worth it for no more than that lift cost. I mean, the rough country combo kit at the time I purchased it, which was, I mean, it's June 2023 right now, it was only $200. So, and then of course the tires, they're always tires, they're always going to be expensive, but worth it. So cool beans. Yeah, we'll see if we can go up. Come up over here. Yeah. Alrighty. So I was going to mention the rubbing. The only place it rubs now, unfortunately, is when you go hard right or hard left. The tires will rub. You can kind of see that rub mark right there. They will rub a little bit on the frame, so I'm going to get some wheel spacers, and that will fix that issue. If you're doing custom wheels with an offset or negative, whatever it would take to get them out, but other than that, there has been no rubbing, no issues after clearancing them. So that's about all I've got. If you got any questions, holler at me. Thanks.